What's the word, people? It's your boy John back at you with another reaction video. This is first 72 hours after aliens make contact, hour by hour. Alright, I'm sure everybody know, if you're looking at this video, the government put out video footage of what they say are UFOs, quote unquote. I don't know. Do I believe in them? Yes, I do. Will I see them in my lifetime? I doubt it. I don't think nobody would actually see them come down low enough so we could see them. You know what I'm saying? Or they make contact with us, we talk, interact with them in any type of way. I don't think we'll see that in our lifetime. But I might be wrong. But let's go ahead and get into this video. First 72 hours out of aliens make contact. Let's go.
Scientist wearing thick-lensed glasses and a black t-shirt with a UFO and the words "I want to believe" on it puts both hands over the headphones he's wearing. His eyes open wide. He can't believe what's being picked up by the array of radio telescopes outside the window. He rips his headphones off and runs to the lab where the rest of his colleagues are gathered. "You guys really need to hear this," he pants as he bursts into the room. The scientist turns on the speakers and they all listen. The sound is not natural. Alien contact has been made. The scientists at the Search for Extraterrestrial Intelligence, also known as SETI, scramble to follow protocol. Now that they've identified an alien signal, what they do next will determine the fate of the planet. There are procedures in place to ensure contact has actually been made, and the signal is not just a fluke, but the steps that follow are only known to the people who have the highest security clearance in the country. 1 minute after first contact. The signal is double-checked by everyone at the observatory to make sure it's not coming from a human-made object or the result of a natural phenomenon. The scientists try to disprove that the signal is alien in origin, but can't. 2 minutes after first contact. The scientists at SETI reach out to their colleagues around the world by phone and over the internet. They tell them exactly what frequency to listen in on and where to point their telescopes in the sky. Everyone holds their breath as scientists across the planet try and corroborate the results. 3 minutes after first contact. Time slowly goes by as the SETI scientists who first found the signal try pointing other devices at the sky and get further readings. They can't believe the data that's coming in. There is something there, really, really big, and they've ruled out it's an asteroid or a comet, as the object is not giving off enough light, and the signal keeps repeating itself. 4 minutes after first contact. Results start coming in from around the world. Europe confirms that there is something anomalous in that part of the sky. Stations in South America, Africa, and Russia also confirm the signal is coming from something very large, headed directly towards Earth. The rest of the planet is facing away from this part of the sky, but as Earth rotates, they'll be able to confirm the alien presence as well. 5 minutes after first contact. The signal has been confirmed independently from multiple sources. Luckily for the scientists at SETI, they have friends at NASA who were able to turn the Hubble telescope directly at the unidentified approaching object. The thrusters on the side of the Hubble fire, repositioning the satellite. The scientists at NASA and SETI look at their monitors. As the blurry image comes into focus, what they see shocks them. Everyone stops what they're doing and stares silently at the monitor. For the first time in history, humans are seeing an alien spacecraft heading toward Earth. 6 minutes after first contact. No one can move. No one can think. The ramifications of the discovery of extraterrestrial life are overwhelming. Suddenly, there's a loud pop. One of the scientists stands in the doorway. She has a bottle of champagne in her hands. Bubbles run down the side. "Congratulations, everyone. We did it," she says.
What did you
Scientists
do?
look at each other and let out a cheer. 7 minutes after first contact. Scientists
They
at
came
SETI
here.
and
You
NASA
didn't
spring
do
into
anything.
action. "We need to alert the president," someone yells. "And the Secretary of Defense," shouts another. They pick up the red phone sitting on a desk and dial a number that's only supposed to be used in emergency situations. The phone rings. 8 minutes after first contact. The Secretary of Defense picks up the phone. "I'm busy right now. What is it?" A gruff voice says on the other line. "Sir?" One of the scientists stammers. We found something." "What are you talking about?" the Secretary of Defense asks, sounding a little annoyed. "Aliens, sir. There are aliens headed toward Earth," replies the scientist. "Whoever gave you this number is going to be arrested and put in jail for a very long time. You do not prank call the Secretary of Defense. The FBI will be at your door within the hour. Goodbye." He slams down the phone. The line goes dead. 9 minutes after first contact. The scientist stands motionless with the phone to his ear. There's nothing coming through but the sound of dial tone. As he puts the phone back in its cradle, he whispers, "The Secretary of Defense didn't believe me." Everyone at SETI looks at him in disbelief. A few seconds go by. The light on the emergency phone begins to blink. The scientist slowly reaches out his hand and picks up the phone. He places it next to his ear. "Why didn't you tell me there was an alien invasion knocking on our door?" the Secretary of Defense screams. "Get your team to DC immediately. We're putting the first contact protocol into place. Do not tell anyone else about what you found." the line goes dead once again. 10 minutes after first contact, protocol dictates that no response to the signal should be sent back to the aliens before further information can be gathered. It's clear that the alien ship is headed straight toward Earth, but we still don't know if the aliens are peaceful or come with hostile intentions. The Secretary of Defense informs NASA to keep an eye on the ship and keep him updated if anything changes. He's about to meet with the president and other military officials. 15 minutes after first contact, the chiefs of staff and the president of the United States sit around a table deep in an underground bunker. The alien ship will reach our atmosphere in a matter of minutes.
They so scared.
At this point, the only people who know about the aliens are the scientists at SETI, the colleagues they reached out to, and the U.S. government. But this won't be the case for long. The U.S. needs to figure out a game plan before reaching out to its allies. Luckily, there's a top-secret contingency plan in place for first contact with aliens. The president and the cabinet conclude that they'll try reaching out to the aliens before alerting the world of their presence. The only problem is the government has no idea how to make contact with a highly advanced alien race. It does not seem that the alien ship is hostile, but they need to be sure. The government knows chaos will break out as soon as the word gets out about the aliens. Before that happens, they need to know as much about the visitors as possible. The president orders NASA to start transmitting to the alien craft. Most of the transmissions are number-based, as math is considered the language of the universe. Binary code seems like a good place to start. So NASA sends a signal containing a repeating series of pulses toward the alien ship. There's no response. The vessel just keeps flying toward Earth. 20 minutes after first contact, there's been no response from the alien ship. It's likely that almost every government around the world now knows the aliens exist, as anyone SETI reached out to earlier when they first discovered the signal has now contacted their respective officials. The United States reaches out to its NATO allies and informs them of their decision. It's time to start mobilizing defense forces just in case the aliens attack the planet. We don't want to provoke the aliens or inadvertently threaten them, so all military branches are kept on standby once they're in position. However, at a moment's notice, every NATO military force can be launched at the incoming alien ship, with swift speed and deadly force. But it's made absolutely clear to everyone that the last thing the human species wants is to provoke a technologically advanced alien species that may be coming in peace. 25 minutes after first contact, all NATO forces have been briefed, and troops are deployed to New Mexico as the alien ship seems to be headed for the array that first picked up the mysterious signal. The United States reaches out to the other powers around the world. China and Russia are brought up to speed. It's not that the U.S. is allying with these countries, but they want to make sure everyone knows that the unidentified object entering Earth's atmosphere is alien in nature and not a new technology created by the United States or their allies. The last thing humans need is an accidental war breaking out because someone thinks they're being spied on by a high-tech vessel and opens fire on the alien craft. To prevent this scenario from unfolding, the United States shares their data on the alien ship, but keeps their tactical plan a secret. Unfortunately, what is about to happen next will cause people around the world to start panicking. 30 minutes after first contact, the alien ship is about to enter the Earth's atmosphere. The government can no longer keep this secret from the people. In preparation for what's to come, the Secretary of Defense informs police departments across the country to put every officer they have on duty. They must be prepared to stop the looting, the rioting, and the chaos that's about to break out. Unfortunately, this contingency plan needs to be in place because analysts have concluded that alien contact will lead to mass hysteria among the populace. Every law enforcement officer, military personnel, and everyone in the reserves are briefed by their commander before the president addresses the nation and informs them of what's happening. The public should hear it from him before the media starts inflating the situation to boost their viewership. The president broadcasts.
You just imagine how this would be. I mean, people will be panicking. I mean, going crazy panicking. Because our society don't know how to handle those situations like this. You know, and it's just the truth. You know, with a little pandemic, people fighting over tissue. Just to think this magnitude what people be doing out in the streets. It's crazy.
Every radio and television station. The video is live streamed on internet websites. He reads from a pre-written script. Although he tries to remain calm, there's a sense of urgency in his voice. Everything is about to change forever. Other leaders from around the world also address their citizens. Many people can't believe an alien ship is about to enter Earth's orbit, but others begin to panic and take drastic actions. Even with law enforcement out on the streets, there is too much confusion and panic. 45 minutes after first contact, a lockdown is put into place. Everyone is asked to remain calm and stay in their homes. Many people listen to the president, lock their doors, and board up their windows. This isn't necessarily to protect themselves from the aliens, but from others of their own species. Those who don't adhere to the lockdown are rounded up by law enforcement or left to their own devices. Either way, the next phase of the first contact protocol is about to begin. The aliens are here. It's time to figure out exactly who they are and what they want. 60 minutes after first contact. There's been no response from the alien ship yet. This is not surprising since we've only tried a few types of communication. However, now that they're almost to Earth, there are some other options. The alien vessel passes the International Space Station. The astronauts on board relay whatever information they can gather about the spaceship back to Earth. However, since they're in orbit, they only get a passing glance at the alien craft as it enters the atmosphere. A fireball forms around the ship as the friction between the atmosphere and the high-tech alloys begin to heat up. The vessel stops 10,000 feet above the surface of the Earth. The United States sends a reconnaissance plane to gather information about the vessel. The aircraft is not armed because we definitely don't want to make the advanced alien ship think it's under attack. Troops are deployed underneath where the UFO is floating. They gather any debris that might have come off upon entry through our atmosphere and bring it back to the research facilities for analysis. The first contact plan hinges on humans gathering as much data as possible about our visitors to best be ready for whatever's about to come next. 90 minutes after first contact. It's now clear that all the nations around the world need to work together to uncover the intentions of the aliens. Information flows freely between countries, regardless of prior political differences. The United Nations serves as a hub for the exchange and sharing of data. New ways to make contact are implemented, using equipment such as bright lights, radio antennas, and devices that can transmit signals at different frequencies. Scientists, linguists, and mathematicians try to figure out some way to communicate with the aliens. Large screens project images that convey peace and universal symbols like the shape of an atom in hopes that we'll get a response. There's no guarantee that any of these things will work, but we have to keep trying. Otherwise, humanity's first contact with aliens will fail. There are two scenarios that could unfold with the aliens at this point. So far, the protocol for first contact has been carried out as planned. When contact was initially made, multiple independent scientists were informed and confirmed the signal was in fact alien in origin. Then the government was contacted, and they took action around keeping the public calm while gathering as much information as possible on the aliens. Now, based on the response of the extraterrestrials, the final part of the plan can be implemented. 24 hours after a peaceful first contact. Even though the aliens have not responded, this is a win for the humans. It means they likely don't have any hostile intentions, and we haven't done anything to provoke them into violence. It's also possible that the extraterrestrials have been sending a return message, but we just haven't discovered or deciphered its meaning yet. We probably won't understand the response right away, but given time, our scientists will figure out its meaning, and a dialogue can begin. The most likely scenario in this situation would be that the aliens would figure out a way to communicate with us long before we figure out a way to communicate with them. So they would end up solving the problem for us. The fact that they've traveled light years to get to our planet means they're vastly more advanced than we are. They'll likely have technologies we can't even dream of, one of which might be a universal translator or a way to dumb down their communication methods to our levels. 48 hours after a peaceful first contact, scientists begin to get results from the initial alien signal that they fed into computers. The patterns in the signal sent by the aliens are quantified and laid out in a way to find repetitions and meaning. The data deciphered by our computers is shared with other scientists worldwide as we look for a way to make sense of the codes hidden within the alien signal. Now that the alien ship has stopped moving, the military has set up a full perimeter around it. The streets are empty, shattered glass from storefronts line the sidewalks, abandoned cars sit lifelessly on the roads. People everywhere are glued to their screens as they watch the events of history unfold between humanity and the first intelligent life we've ever come into contact with. As time goes on, the only thing anyone's talking about is the aliens and their ship. Doomsday preppers assume the end has come and hunkered down in their bunkers. Many people have locked their doors and await further instructions from world leaders. Others are making their way to the location of the alien craft so they can see it with their own eyes. They're stopped miles from its location by military personnel blocking all routes that lead to the ship. The first contact protocol in place restricts civilian access to the aliens. Only government agencies, scientists, and military personnel are allowed to try and make contact with the aliens. They're trying to minimize the number of variables that might lead to confusion or hostilities. 72 hours after a peaceful first contact, the protocol remains the same. The government works with scientists and other nations to try and talk to the aliens. We still need to know why they're here and what they want. Since there has been no conflict, it does not seem like our new visitors want to wipe us off the face of the earth. We've now advanced past the first contact protocols and are just trying to make sense of the situation. Under ideal circumstances, we would eventually find a way to communicate with the aliens. They would share their knowledge and technology. We would join a federation of galactic civilizations and explore the final frontiers of space. Humanity would spread across the stars in peaceful exploration and missions to bring other species to a thriving galactic community. Unfortunately, this probably isn't the way things would go if aliens ever did come to Earth. In a more likely scenario, things would go very differently and very badly for the human species during our first contact protocol. 24 hours after a hostile first contact. As we signal the alien ship to try and communicate with them, they vaporize our scientists and destroy all reconnaissance planes. Massive doors on the alien craft open, and an invasion fleet swarms down to Earth. It's now time to put the second part of the first contact contingency plan into place. We hoped we'd never have to do this during our first contact with aliens, but it's now become inevitable. Throughout human history, whenever a more advanced civilization came into contact with a less advanced one, there tended to be exploitation and war. The civilization with more state-of-the-art weapons and technology typically took whatever they wanted and conquered the lands of their adversaries. There's no reason to think that an advanced alien civilization would not do the same to the Earth. The United States launches its full military strength at the alien ship, but it's not enough. They plead with their allies for help. The British Royal Air Force and the combined strength of all the nations in the European Union attack the alien ship. Unfortunately, humanity's aircraft are no match for the aliens' superior weapons and shielding. We launch ballistic missiles from naval vessels and silos at the UFO. However, nuclear weapons are kept off the table for the time being. We don't want to destroy ourselves in the process of fighting off the alien threat. This has been the plan from the beginning if the aliens became hostile. Nuclear weapons are to be used as a last resort only, 48 hours after a hostile first contact. Unfortunately, not everyone on the planet can be counted on. There are certain countries that see the conflict between the United States, its allies, and their aliens as an opportunity. They launch invasion forces to conquer lands that they've had their eye on for some time. They're not allying with the aliens, and the aliens are not allying with the rogue humans, but each of them wants something and they're taking it. It might seem unbelievable that we need to consider the actions of other countries while the planet is being invaded by aliens, but it's something that must be considered even in this scenario. Humans are now fighting the aliens and each other, but the threat from space is the main focus for the United States and its allies. The hostile alien protocol dictates that the extraterrestrials must be stopped at all costs. Military officials look to scientists to help determine their next course of action. If the aliens seem to be using biotechnology or have minimal armor, a biological weapon might be effective against them. The US launches a non-explosive missile loaded with viruses, bacteria, and other deadly pathogens through the hull of the alien ship. The hope is that when the pathogens are released, they'll kill off any alien life forms that are trying to invade the Earth. If the extraterrestrials seem to be heavily reliant on technology, humans could drop EMP bombs on the alien vessel. This would cause all the electronic functions to cease and the ship to fall out of the sky. 72 hours after a hostile first contact, it becomes clear that even our most deadly weapons aren't strong enough to stop the alien threat. There's only one thing left to do. If the human species can't have the planet, no one can. We launch a nuclear missile at the alien ship. It detonates. Everyone looking toward the sky is temporarily blinded. A cheer goes out across the country as we think we defeated the alien threat. But as the smoke and fire begins to subside, we see that the alien vessel is still there. The extraterrestrial technology is far more advanced than we could have possibly imagined. The final order is given. All nuclear missiles from around the world are launched at the UFO in hopes that we can destroy it. Our planet will become irradiated and will plunge into nuclear winter, but it's better than giving up our home to an alien species that wants to strip it of its resources and enslave humanity. It's important to note that there is no way to know exactly how well prepared we are for first contact with aliens until it happens. SETI and other science organizations have protocols in place for when they find an alien signal. We know the United States and other governments, such as the United Kingdom and Japan, have a first contact protocol, but these documents are classified and we can only extrapolate bits and pieces of what they would look like from what has been leaked. The scary part is that according to some of the greatest minds of science, making contact with an alien species is likely to be the end of humanity. We know that any extraterrestrials that can make it from their home world to Earth will likely be light years beyond us technologically. We also know that since the universe is a vast place, an alien craft that comes directly to Earth likely did so with a purpose. If they just wanted resources or to explore, there are plenty of resource-rich uninhabited worlds throughout the galaxy. If the aliens are aiming for Earth, it probably means that they want something from our planet, and they don't care whether humans are living on it or not. Stephen Hawking, one of the most brilliant minds that ever lived, strongly believed that humankind would likely be wiped out by any alien civilization that came to Earth. Hawking predicted that such advanced aliens would probably become nomads, looking to conquer and colonize whatever planets they could reach. So who knows what the limits would be. But not all scientists are as pessimistic as Stephen Hawking. Seth Shostak, a senior astronomer at the SETI Institute, believes that any hostile alien civilization that is cruising around the galaxy will likely have already picked up radio signals from Earth and come to conquer us. The fact that we've been left alone to develop on our own might indicate that any alien species exploring the galaxy right now just doesn't find us interesting enough to bother with. Or in an even more optimistic scenario, they're waiting until we're more technologically advanced before welcoming us into their space federation. The truth of the matter is, we are not prepared for first contact with aliens. Since going to the moon, humanity has
Humans are stupid. I'm like, humans are stupid at the end of the day.
greatly reduced the amount of time and money we invest in space exploration. This means that we're probably better prepared back in the late 60s and 70s for alien contact than we are today. Our first contact protocols are likely outdated, and any aliens we come into contact with will either not bother with such a technologically inferior species as humans, or they'll just make us their pets. Now watch, Space Chief makes a shocking alien confession.
Yeah. Humans are too dumb to even understand what's going on as far as an invasion or if they're coming in peace or not. The whole world will start to panic. Like I said at the beginning of the video, the world will get to panicking, and just like he said, the rogue countries will try to take over other countries, and it's just going to be a whole bunch of everything going on. And it might just be the end of humanity because humans are stupid. Hey, it is what it is. This was a good video. If you want me to keep on with this series of videos, then I will do that. Just leave a comment below. And I'm going to get back at y'all later. Make sure you like it, subscribe. I'm going to holler at you.